School of Life, book from Alain de Botton, The School of Life. And it's a YouTube channel that has still animated videos, often with the voice of Alain de Botton, who's an English-Swedish philosopher who thinks about the challenges of modern-day living. And early on in the book, there's two things he talks about in terms of education. And he says, modern education makes two big assumptions. Number one, what we are taught matters more than how we are taught. And two, once we're taught something once, you don't need to worry about it again. It's stuck there in the hard drive that is in our brain. And he says, of course, if you live life, if you pay attention to how we live, those two things do not hold true. Number one, how we are taught really matters. I was picking up my daughter from school, my 9-year-old daughter, and I said to her, "You've stopped playing tennis. Do you not like tennis anymore?" And she says, "I like tennis, I just don't like the teacher. The teacher changed." And I thought that was a profound understanding for a 9-year-old to realize that it's not the tennis that changed, it's the teacher that changed. And the previous teacher knew how to encourage her, be positive, get the best out of her. And the teacher, the changed teacher, just didn't make the experience of taking a tennis racket and swinging it at balls feel like a pleasurable experience for my daughter. So it's not that she's stopped playing tennis or having an interest in tennis, but she's got the awareness. It's not the tennis that's changed, it's the teacher. And she didn't like the methods and the mode of being of the current teacher. I think the current teacher thinks that tennis is a game to win. And if you're not frustrated when you lose, then perhaps you're not playing well. And my daughter's approach to tennis is it's a game that's fun. It's not a game for winning or losing. It's a game that's fun. And sometimes you do fun things, and sometimes you work the ball at your dad, and it's even more fun than the rules of the game. But I think it's important for all of us to realize that it's not what you're learning, but it's how you're learning that really gets into you. And my role as a teacher, I find very often there's a huge fascination with the content of my classes, but very little interest in how I run my classes. IESE as a business school, we do talk a lot about that it's a case-based teaching, that more of our classes are about discussing cases and making it real and bringing in different viewpoints. The role of a teacher is not to give a lesson, but to conduct and facilitate a session where you hear a lot of different perspectives and opinions on a challenge that is happening in front of you. The second flawed assumption of modern education is teach you once and it sticks into the mental hard drive. And I think we all know that not to be true. Even my daughter, my elder daughter, who's studying for exams, knows that you need to repeat it over and over and over again, and sometimes drawing it out in a beautiful way with multiple colors makes some ideas more sticky than just learning it once. But if you look at religion, which was the master of how you help people really learn lessons that can help them in their life, the realization that we don't learn things, they don't stick. We learn and they fall out of our head. It's important to make it part of your daily life. And in religion, that's called a ritual. And in your life and in mine, we call it habits. Your habits. If something becomes a habit, it ingrains itself into your life. You don't need to remember it for it to have an impact. One of the things that I remember Warren Rustand really works to inculcate in all of us leaders that have been through entrepreneurs, organizations, leadership development, is a morning ritual of taking out a paper and a pen and what he calls 10 minutes reading something that just lifts up your imagination. 10 minutes reflecting on what you're grateful for, and 10 minutes pen on paper, just putting onto that page everything that's flowing through your mind and your body. What are your goals for the day? What are your hopes for the day? What are your worries for the day? Just get them all out. And if you get this ritual going where every morning you get clarity, you take some time to hear what's going on inside you, and you get some time to just write down what is your plan, what is your intention for the day, it can have a huge effect. This idea that knowing what to do in a gym doesn't give you a six-pack. Knowing that journaling is valuable for clarity doesn't give you clarity. It's only the habit and almost turning it into a religious morning ritual or afternoon ritual, linking it to other habits, that makes knowledge work for you in life. So I think two flawed assumptions that come with our modern education system. One, that the content is more important than how you learn. And second, that once it's learned, it sticks. I think who teaches you and how they engage you in the process of learning matters more than the content. And the second, we forget almost every day everything that's important. But if there's a ritual that just reminds you, if you ask what's important, often it comes back. And for me, there's a lot of little cheat sheets all around my office behind me to remind me of the things that I know are important, but I know every morning I wake up and I've forgotten them again, and I need to be reminded. So how are you looking at not just what the content of what you learn is, but how and from who you wish to learn, and how the important things, you don't just assume that learn them once and they stick. You need to turn it into a habit, into a ritual, so that they stay alive in your life. So have a great one. Great book, The School of Life. Great set of videos on YouTube. I'm going to stick a link over to Alain de Botton's YouTube channel, because he's just a wise voice on living well in today's modern society. So have a good one. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your questions. Keeps me switching on the video, making these videos. Have a great one.